Right, welcome to another video tutorial from gccmathscat.com. I'm going to take you through simplifying algebraic fractions, and basically this topic is an A-star topic. So let's take a look at a couple of examples, and I'm going to show you how to simplify an algebraic fraction and solve it as well. Okay. So as I said, it's an A-star topic, and therefore it might be suitable for only for people who are doing higher paper and not the foundation. When I'm going through this video, I'm going to assume that you know how to factorize quadratic expressions, and if you don't know, then what I'll do is I'll try to do my best to take you through it, but I'm not going to go too much in detail. So the example we're going to work through is 2 over x minus 1 plus 3 over x plus 1 is equal to 1. Let's use a different color. I don't like that blue. Let's take some whites. First of all, the first thing you need to realize is that whenever you have an algebraic fraction, you have to have the denominator of the fraction to be the same. And in our case, we've got x minus 1, and we've got x plus 1. And you can agree with me that they are different because on the first one we've got a minus, and on the second one we've got a plus. In order to rectify that problem, all you need to do is multiply the two denominators together. So you're going to multiply both of them together, and you're going to end up with a new set of fractions. So just rewrite the first fraction as x minus 1 times x plus 1, and the second fraction you're going to do exactly the same thing. You're going to have x plus 1, which was your original denominator, and then you're going to multiply with the other one, which is x minus 1. Okay, so you just multiply the two denominators together and you just rewrite at the bottom. Now, for the numerator, you need to cross multiply. And what I mean by cross multiplying is very simple. If you look at the 2 here, you're going to multiply this 2 with the opposite denominator. So in our case, is x plus 1. This is called cross multiplying. So at the top of this fraction, I'm going to have 2 times x plus 1. Now, just as a future reference, when you multiply a number with a bracket, you don't need a times in between, so I'm going to remove the times. Yeah, so I'm left with 2 brackets x plus 1. Next, I'm going to cross multiply the 3 with x minus 1. So the 3, I'm going to cross multiply it with x minus 1. So again, I'm going to do 3 brackets x minus 1. And on the other side, you've got the equal to 1, and that you're going to leave it as it is for now. Your next step is to expand the brackets. So step 1 here, we multiplied the denominators and we cross multiplied the numerators. Now the next step is to expand the brackets. So step 2, expand the brackets. So we're going to go ahead and do that. 2 times x is equal to 2x, and 2 times 1 is equal to 2. So you're just multiplying the numbers with the term inside the bracket. And at the bottom, we're going to do x times x, which is x squared, x times 1, which is 1x, or just x on its own. X times x is, minus 1 times x is minus x. And minus 1 times 1 is minus 1. For the other one, we're going to do exactly the same thing. 3 times x is 3x. Three times minus 1 is minus 3. And at the bottom, we're going to have the same thing as what we had here. So we're going to have x squared plus x minus 1. Once you've expanded the bracket, you need to simplify your numerators and your denominators by collecting like terms. So let's take a new color. Here I've got plus x and minus x. So that's going to cancel out, because if you've got plus of something and then you take away something, then you're left with nothing. So those two will cancel out. So we'll those two. So we end up with 2x plus 2 over x squared minus 1 plus 3x minus 3 over x squared minus 1. Alright, now let me explain to you why I've done step 1 and step 2. Now, if you remember, when you're dealing with fractions, in order to add the numerators, you have to have the same denominators. And you can see by taking step 1 and step 2, I've ended up with 2 fractions with the same denominators. It's x squared minus 1 and x squared minus 1. So once you've achieved that, then you can add the numerators together and simplify the like terms on the numerators. So I can rewrite this whole expression, these 2 fractions, into 1 because I have the same denominator. So I could rewrite this as 2x plus 2 plus 3x minus 3, and at the bottom, because I have the same denominators, I just need to rewrite it once. So x squared minus 1. And the simple rule that I've used here is when you have the same denominator for a fraction, then let's say you had something like 2/3 plus 1/3. I've got the same denominator, which is 3. Then what I can do is just add the top ones together, 2 plus 1, and I have the same denominators for the bottom. Yeah. So this is what I've done for my expression. Yeah. Now, if you look at your numerator part, you can see that you've got some like terms as well. You've got 2x and the 3x that you can add together, and you've got the plus 2 and the minus 3 that you can collect together and simplify. So let's jump to a different page now and simplify the numerator, and then finally we're going to solve the equation. Okay. So we've got 2x plus 2 plus 3x minus 3 all over x squared minus 1, and that's still equal to 1. So I'm going to collect the like terms, and I'm going to add the 2x and the plus 3x together, and I'm going to add the plus 2 and the minus 3 together. So now I'm going to end up with 2x plus 3x, which is 5x, and 2 minus 3 is equal to minus 1, and the denominator stays the same, and that's still equal to 1. Okay, so the first part of simplifying the algebraic fraction is done. Your next job is to solve the equation. And to do that, the first step you're going to do is multiply the denominator, which is x squared minus 1 in our case, with the whole number that you have on the other side of the equation. So we're going to multiply x squared minus 1, and before you do that, I want you to put it inside brackets like that, okay? And you're going to cross multiply with the number which is on the other side. So in our case, it's the 1 here. So cross multiply with 1, and if I do that, I end up with 5x minus 1 is equal to 1 times x squared minus 1. And the reason why it becomes times is because here on that side we had a divide by x squared minus 1, and the opposite operation to divide by x squared minus 1 is times x squared minus 1. I don't want to go too much into the details why it becomes a times and division, because it's another lesson altogether, but if you're doing this A-style question, you should be able to follow along. Alright, now we're going to solve this equation by collecting like terms again. And if you expand these brackets, we end up with 1 times x squared, which is x squared, and 1 times minus 1 is minus 1. And now it's just a matter of collecting the like terms and solving the equation. So we're going to get rid of the minus 1 here by doing the opposite operation. So I'm going to add plus 1 on that side and plus 1 on that side. So these two terms will cancel out, and I'm going to be left with 5x on this side, and on the other side I'm going to be left with x squared, because those two will cancel out as well. Minus 1 plus 1 is 0, and minus 1 plus 1 is 0. And finally, I'm going to take away 5x on that side and 5x on that side. So I've got them both on the same side. So if I cancel this, I'm going to be left with 0. And on this side here, I'm going to be left with x squared minus 5x. And now finally, what I'm going to do is solve this equation by factorizing. So I'm going to look at the x squared and the 5x, and I'm going to ask myself what's the highest common factor for both of them. And in our case, it's x. So I've got 0 is equal to x, so that's my highest common factor. And then I'm going to ask myself, x times what will give me the x squared back? So in our case, it's going to be x. Then I'm going to put a takeaway, because here I had a takeaway. And then I'm going to do x times something is equal to 5x. So in our case, it was 5. And now to find the value of x, I'm going to split this up. And whatever term we have in front of the bracket is always equal to 0. So in our case, we're going to say that x is equal to 0. So this term here, whatever that's in front of the bracket is always equal to 0. And for the next one, we're going to say x minus 5 is equal to 0. And if you solve this simple equation, then I'm going to add 5 on that side and add 5 on that side of the equation, and the minus 5 plus 5 will cancel out, so I'll be left with x, and on the other side I'm going to have just 5, because 0 plus 5 is just 5. And that's the end of the question. And like I said to you, it's a very long question to complete. There's few things to know. So cross multiplying, getting the same denominators, collecting like terms, expanding brackets, and factorizing. So if you have any questions and you don't understand some of the steps that I've showed you, drop me an email or drop me a comment and I'll try to help you out. Best of luck. Bye.